So this is the big question. Will I make any money for my Kickstarter campaign? Well, the answer is probably not, no. However, it's not as bad as it sounds. My name is Jason, and last year I successfully launched my first board game, Airport Empire. And now I'm documenting the process of my next board game, and I'm going to share some insights along the way. So let's start with a recap. Since the last video, me and Mike, we are still deep in designing. We're working out prototypes and mechanics and content and all this kind of stuff. So we're just chugging along doing our thing, which means I haven't spent any more money, which is good. It's just the days that have ticked up. However, something I want to share with you, which I forgot to say in the last video, which is important and something you should do, and that's to create your Kickstarter page. Now, I haven't done that. That's why I didn't bring it up. And the reason why is Kickstarter doesn't allow it. They don't allow it if you're still fulfilling the previous project you did. So once I've fully fulfilled Airport Empire, then I can do that, and I will at the time. But if it's your first one and you're following along, go on Kickstarter, create an account, and create your first project. It's going to ask you for a bunch of stuff, but it's all template stuff. Just fill it in, you can change it all later. The important thing is to get the title and your box art in there. And what that does, that creates that little tab on Kickstarter that people can go on, and most importantly, they can follow. You will get a URL, and that's your job. Share that URL far and wide. Even if you're 2 years away from launching, just every time it comes up in conversation, give them the URL, get them scan the QR code with the URL and say, please follow, please follow, please follow, please follow. Because when the Kickstarter eventually goes live, Kickstarter will email all those people saying it's live, and hopefully they jump on and back your campaign. So that's important. Get on there and do that now. So insights, moving on. Will you make any money? Well, the obvious answer is it depends how successful your campaign is. Now, if you go on Kickstarter and you'll have a browse around, I'm sure you've done this before, you'll see three types of campaigns. You'll see ones going crazy, making loads of money. You'll see the middle of the range ones, and you'll see some that are making no money at all. And you can't quite figure out what's the difference here. So the ones making loads of money, you know, sure, these wildcard outliers do happen, and a first-time creator can make loads of money. But most of the time, it's developers, publishers doing their third board game or doing a reprint or something like that. So you've kind of got to, you're not there yet, so don't worry about those ones. The ones making no money, well, that's just because they've not got their marketing right, pure and simple. So put those aside. You are aiming for the middle of the road ones. And that's what happened to me. I got exactly what I wanted. That was kind of the expectation. It didn't get the crazy success, and luckily I got the funding. So we're going to use mine as the baseline. So we'll go over all the figures involved with my game, and then you can give you a rough idea of what you can expect. And just to give you a little bit more of an example of that, when I was doing my game, you always see who else is live at the moment, and you're kind of comparing and looking and whatnot. And that's happened. There was publishers making lots of money, some not making much at all, and some around me. So there was one that was making lots of money. It was called Camp Grizzly. It looks very cool. So I looked into them, and sure enough, if you look here, they had their first campaign a few years ago, and it made exactly what I made. Middle of the road, just a good, solid, successful campaign. And then after a few years, they come back, and now they're having this huge, successful campaign. So now you know that, let's look at my game, and let's figure out how much money we're making from all of it. So I've got some figures here, so let's get my big stack of cash. And what I made in revenue was 92,000 US dollars. That's more than it shows on my campaign, because a lot of that is shipping. You claim you get people to pay the shipping afterwards, and then you use that to ship the goods. So, first off, 20,000 US dollars. That was what I spent on designing and getting the campaign ready. So I got that back. Good stuff. Manufacturing, that was $36,000. Now, manufacturing, obviously, that's the cost to make all the goods. My one was a little higher than normal. You see, I just wanted a good premium product. I went for nice, thick, matte coated boxes. The rules, I added a little almanac book. The rules are all matte coated and stuff. And then inside I've got a nice tray. I wanted it all nicely organized. You know, I hate it when you've got board games and it's just, you open it and it's just chaos and you spend 20 minutes getting sorted. So I've got double layered everything. So if you are very much more money conscious, there are cheaper versions. When I spoke to my manufacturer, I said, give me the semi-cheap samples, semi-premium samples, and then the cost of each, and then I picked and chose between. And with most things, I went for the premium option. So $36,000 is what it cost me to get everything made. Next up, I've got the fulfillment, so shipping it to everyone, and that costs $20,000. So that comes off. And that leaves me with $16,000. Now, I made a cock-up and it cost me $5,000. However, you're not going to make that, so I'm going to give you that $5,000 back. And if you want to know what that was, I'm going to make a video later about all the mistakes I made and how I'm going to learn from them. So like and subscribe, and you can see that video when it comes around. So $16,000, that's what we're left with. Not bad, you know, it's not going to replace my day job, but for my hobby, for my side hustle, not a bad little haul. So do I get to take that? No, you cannot. The reason why is you've just launched a Kickstarter. Use it as the name suggests. It's a Kickstarter. It's going to kickstart your business. If I take that cash now, that's me done. I've given everyone their product and I'm finished. I've got $16,000. I can walk away. Sweet. But I don't want to do that. I want to grow. I want to get this into stores. I want to put it on my own website for sales. I want to put it on Amazon. I need to use this to buy more stock. And if I want to buy 1,000 units, guess how much it costs? $17,000. So that's all gone. Okay, I could buy a little less stock to keep it in budget, but all that money is used for the stock that I can use to grow the business. Like I said in the title, you're probably not going to make money, but it's not as bad as it sounds. Actually, it's good because you've got your money back from your campaign. You've got a great business now that started with no debts, and you've got a lot of stock to sell and make money from that. That was $17,000 I just spent on stock, but that stock is now worth about $50,000. It's good. My big takeaway advice from all of this is don't treat it like a money-making scheme. If you're like, cool, I want to find a way to make some money, let me create a board game on Kickstarter. And no, don't do that. Treat it as a hobby and a platform that you can then hopefully one day launch you to making your full-time job. Your first campaign, it's just a learning process. And if you come away with it like this, you've done a great job. So that's how you want to think about it. And also coming away from that as well, which also is good, is you get data to go to distributors. You can tell people, well, you can prove there is a demand for airport-themed tycoon games, and you can show who's buying it, where they're buying it, and that kind of stuff. So if I got a lot of sales in Australia, so I can go to an Australian distributor and say, hey, there's a big demand there. Here's some proof. Here you go. So you get a lot of stuff from your campaign which you can use going forward. And also, you've got a big mail list that you created from marketing this one. So when you do go live on Amazon, a lot of people on your mail list didn't back it. That's just the nature of how it is. A lot of them don't really understand Kickstarter and whatnot, or they just want it to keep an ear to the ground. So once you go live on Amazon, you've got 3,000-4,000 emails. You can email straight away and hopefully get some instant sales, or on your own private website. So that's good as well. Now I'm curious, is that what you thought? I know what it's like when you're looking on Kickstarter. You see like, wow, look at how much money this campaign has raised, and wow, this costs so much money. So yes, I'm curious to know if you thought people walk away with more money or less money, or if this is about what you expected. So comment down below. I'm curious to know. That's it for the insights with how much money you're going to walk away with. And let's finish up with objectives for the next video if you're following along. Development's well underway, and I want to be at a stage where I know what artwork I'm going to need. By the next video, I want to be 80% of the way done and sketching out all the artwork ready to hand over to the illustrator. That's where I want to be on the next video. Follow along and you can see if I hit that. In the meantime, if you miss any of the other videos, I've got a video here on budgeting for your campaign, and then I'm going to put a video here for getting started, what software you need, things to consider. So thank you very much, and see you next time.